First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Good evening and welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Macie Goldfarb.
And I'm Fareeha Abrar. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have new updates following the former University of Florida quarterback arrested on child pornography charges this week.
That's right. Jalen Kitna was released from jail on an $80,000 bond yesterday. Now he's going to his home in Texas. His parents and former NFL quarterback Jon Kitna addressed the courtroom and promised to supervise their 19-year-old son in Burleson, Texas. Conditions restrict him to have any contact with minors. He's also restricted from access to the internet.
Another football player is also making headlines following an incident that occurred earlier this week. Florida law enforcement issued a warrant for the arrest of former wide receiver of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Antonio Brown, yesterday. Brown is wanted on suspicion of battery. The warrant stems from an incident Monday involving Brown and the mother of 4 of his children. According to court documents, Brown threw a shoe at the woman, tossed the woman's belongings out of the house, and made threats to shoot her. Brown was last on an NFL field in January when he famously took his jersey and pads off as he left the field in the middle of a game.
The Hawthorne Hornets and Blountstown Tigers will face off in Hawthorne tonight after complaints about security issues at the school.
Digital news correspondent Ben Acker joins us live in the studio with details surrounding with what the complaints sparked issue. Ben, what did you learn?
Fareeha, Macie, Pahokee High School faced Hawthorne in the regional final last Friday, and the school filed complaints to the Florida High School Athletic Association about the small security presence and lack of crowd control at Hawthorne's field. As part of the agreement to keep the game in Hawthorne, the school installed fencing around the end zones to keep fans at a safe distance from players and coaches. The school will also use metal detector wands to prevent fans from bringing in weapons, noisemakers, or other prohibited items. There will also be separate bathroom facilities for home and away fans to use. Upon hearing the news and the new protocols, Pahokee's athletic director agreed it will improve player and fan safety at the game. The winner of tonight's game between Hawthorne and Blountstown will advance to the Class 1R State Championship. The winner will face the winner of the game between the Northview Chiefs and the Union County Fighting Tigers. The championship game will take place at Gene Cox Stadium in Tallahassee on Saturday, December 10th at 7 p.m. Back to you.
Thanks, Ben. In more Florida news, at least 5 people were injured in a warehouse fire in Orlando that ignited fireworks yesterday. Officials responded to the warehouse fire on Central Florida Parkway shortly after 7 last night. They found flames and heavy smoke coming through the roof. The fire began in a fireworks storage area. Several people were trapped inside as fireworks shot around them until firefighters were able to get everyone out. 4 adults and 1 teenager were hurt. Their conditions are unknown at this time. The fire is under investigation. After a chilly Thursday and a kind of warmer Friday, what does our evening forecast look like?
I'm hoping for some warmer temperatures, but Julia, what can you tell us?
Well, that's right. We had a below average Thursday and we warmed up so much that we had an above average Friday, seeing about a 10-degree difference all over north central Florida, 9 degrees in Gainesville, 11 in Lake City, and even a 13-degree difference all the way over in the Panhandle in Tallahassee. And our temperatures currently sitting in the mid to upper 70s, 76 for Gainesville, 75 Ocala, 77 the Villages, 75 Daytona, 72 St. Augustine, and 74 for Jacksonville. Now for this evening, if you're planning on going out, it's going to be a great evening to do so. Clear skies around 6 p.m. and then dropping through the 60s around toward midnight. So around midnight, those lows are going to sit in the mid 50s. It's going to be a little chilly. You might need a jacket when you go outside. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. I'm definitely looking forward to those warmer temperatures this weekend. And speaking of, Gainesville's newest market is ready to add to the area's growing Latin American influence. Rincon Latino Market offers a variety of food from across Latin America, specializing in produce and baked goods. The bakery and coffee bar is tucked in the back right corner as you enter the market. Customers can select from authentic, made-from-scratch baked goods from across Latin America, including empanadas, papas rellenas, sandwiches, cakes, cookies, sweets, cheese spreads, and more. Rincon Latino Market is open daily from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And if you decide to hit up the new Latin Market, you may want to consider making time for the city's annual holiday light celebration too. Attendees will gather on the lawn at the historic Thomas Center tomorrow night. That's when the holiday lights in the garden will illuminate for spectators. Inside the Thomas Center, attendees can view and take selfies with the giant holiday tree. The event is free and open to the public, and it starts at 6 p.m. The Labor Department's November report is looking pretty good for the U.S. economy.
But first, coming up on First at 5, Royals will end their trip with a meeting with President Biden.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. A popular microwavable pasta brand is at the center of a new lawsuit. One Florida One, the parent company of Velveeta Shells and Cheese, is being sued over alleged misleading prep times.
Amanda Ramirez from Florida is suing food giant Kraft Heinz, alleging the company misleads customers about just how long it takes to prepare Velveeta's shells and cheese cups. Velveeta shells and cheese packaging says ready in 3.5 minutes, but Ramirez says the claim is false, since microwaving for 3.5 minutes is one of several steps needed. The suit alleges the company is misleading customers, allowing the company to sell more of the product at a higher price. In a statement, representatives for the plaintiffs said in part, "I've gotten a lot of flack about this case, but deceptive advertising is deceptive advertising, and we want corporate America to be straightforward and truthful." In a statement, Kraft Heinz tells NBC they're aware of the, quote, frivolous lawsuit and will strongly defend against the allegations in the complaint.
At first glance, this lawsuit may look ridiculous, but when you look at it more closely, it may be that the defendant here made a misstatement of fact about how long it takes to prepare this product.
One of the attorneys on this suit is Spencer Sheehan, nicknamed the Vanilla Lawyer. He's filed over 400 class action lawsuits against food and beverage companies, over 100 just on vanilla flavoring.
This includes household favorites like strawberry Pop-Tarts, Betty Crocker fudge brownie mix, A&W root beer, and even Tostitos hint of lime.
The cases are either pending, dismissed, or settled out of court.
This is just a prime example of what we call lawsuit abuse.
Sherman Joyce is president of the American Tort Reform Association.
The evidence is very clear that in these types of consumer class actions, that the consumer gets little, if anything, but that the lawyers do quite well.
Other experts say the law looks out for consumers.
State statutes that punish deceptive trade practices are David and Goliath type statutes. They're designed to look out for the little guy who is harmed by these fraudulent or deceptive trade practices by gigantic companies.
As for Velveeta's mac and cheese, time will tell.
Experts point out that the line between misleading advertising and simply hyping oneself up, or what they call in legal terms puffery, is a thin and blurry one, which means the court will have to decide if it was an attempt to deceive trade practice.
The Labor Department revealed a strong jobs report. According to the data, the U.S. economy added 263 jobs in November, which was well above the 200,000 estimate. The unemployment rate remains unchanged at 3.7%. Also, the average hourly earnings jumped by 0.6% last month, which is double the Dow Jones estimated increase. On a year-over-year basis, wages are up 5.1%, better than the 4.6% expectation. The news sent stocks tumbling more than 400 points this morning on fears that a stronger than expected report may lead to aggressive increases in interest rates to help fight inflation.
Furthermore, President Biden is touting gas prices and labor market numbers ahead of the latest job reports. At his rail bill signing, the president noted that the 263 million jobs added in November brings the total amount since he took office to over 10 million. Meanwhile, gas prices down $1.50 per gallon since a dramatic surge over the summer. Biden says all this means his economic plan to build from the bottom up and middle out is working, giving the poor and middle class a shot while the wealthy continue to do well.
Today is the Royals couple's final day in Boston, and the Prince of Wales paid a visit to the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum in Dorchester. Prince William met with the U.S. Ambassador to Australia, Caroline Kennedy, and got a tour of the museum. He's also expected to meet with the President Joe Biden at the library as well. The royal couple's trip will end Friday evening at the new MGM Music Hall for the Earthshot Prize Awards, the main reason behind their trip to Boston. Prince William's Earthshot Prize was inspired by JFK's moonshot, which challenged America to get a man on the moon in the 60s. This is Prince William and Princess Kate's first trip to the United States in 8 years. And we started December off feeling a bit chilly, but we're warming up, it seems like, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm wondering if the cold is gonna come back anytime soon. Julia?
Well, we are expecting a cold front, but by how much will temperatures drop? I'm Julia Haley with your full forecast in a few minutes.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Friday's temperature is looking above average for this time of year. Currently sitting in the low 70s as we are dropping. 72 Gainesville, 75 Ocala, 69 Palatka, 76 The Villages, and 73 for High Springs. Now that is a difference from yesterday as we did warm up. So a 9-degree difference here in Gainesville, warmed up by 11 degrees in Jacksonville, 11 in Tallahassee, and 8 degrees in Ocala. And outside of our studio, currently seeing that sunset, beautiful colors outside, 73 degrees, feels like 72 as it does feel just a little chillier, but clear blue skies. On to our hour by hour this evening, starting in the upper 60s and dropping into the upper 50s overnight. That chance for fog will be present in the morning. If you plan on making your commute, you may see fog. So our lows for Saturday morning, sitting in the upper 50s, 57 Gainesville, 58 Ocala, 61 The Villages, 59 Palatka, 56 for High Springs, and this weekend expecting sunny skies. It's going to be a very sunny weekend. So we're rising into the upper 70s and then staying in the upper 70s. That chance for showers does exist in the evening of Sunday as a cold front will bring some mild change, but not to our temperatures. See, this cold front is going to bring some showers just behind it around Sunday evening, and then this high pressure system will swoop in, and then we will see some warmer temperatures rising even into the lower 80s. So upper winds showing that same trend as we do have a warm air mass making its way toward Florida as that wind moves east, and we see some warmer temperatures ahead. So what to expect? Scattered showers on Sunday, above average temperatures all week, and then sunny skies all week as well. Take a look at that warming trend as we see that fog on Saturday warming up even into the lower 80s, and then we're seeing sunny skies for the rest of the week. Look at that trend, seeing those lows in the upper 50s and those highs in the upper 70s and even the 80s. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. The scenes of devastation Hurricane Ian left behind touched the hearts of students at an elementary school in Pinellas County, Florida. So much that these students prepared a truckload of supplies to send to another elementary school in Fort Myers, 137 miles away.
I'm sorting clothes into boxes for them.
One by one, students at Leela Davis Elementary School spent their morning organizing hundreds of items, all donated to help students just like them.
Don't be worried, because we're here to help.
5th grader Nolan Gibbons says he wanted to lend a helping hand after seeing the devastation Hurricane Ian left behind.
Really happy because I don't like leaving people out and then behind area, so I always like everyone to have the same amount of goods, of needs and stuff.
All the donations will be sent to Colonial Elementary School in Fort Myers.
Of course, as we prepared here in the Bay Area for Hurricane Ian, and then at the last minute when we took that right-hand turn into Lee County, your hearts dropped, you know, for that community and the devastation that we saw down there. And our students, you know, they see that. You know, it's all over the news.
From non-perishable food items to school supplies, the Hurricane Ian relief donations will be packed into a box truck supplied by the district and headed for Fort Myers Saturday at 8 a.m.
Sometimes you got to put yourself in other people's shoes to imagine how they feel. So you help them.
Teaching these kids a good lesson. Do good in your community whenever you can.
We're coming, Colonial!
That was too cute. Guys, do you have any special weekend plans?
I mean, I'll be in the O-Dome. Volleyball is in the NCAA tournament. How exciting is that? I can't wait for sports to hear Jennica talk about that matchup.
That's right. Tonight's contest is going to be a good one, guys. Tonight's volleyball matchup will be an interesting one as the Gators will be met with familiar faces. Coming up next in sports, you'll hear all about Florida head coach Mary Wise's game plan.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Jennica Clerveaux. Florida running back Naquan Wright has announced his intentions to enter the transfer portal. Wright is the 11th Gator football player to voice their decision to transfer. Last year, Wright finished the season with 326 yards and 1 touchdown. This year, his role was limited upon the arrival of Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson. Tonight, Florida volleyball will open the NCAA tournament with a matchup against Florida A&M in the O-Dome. The 12th ranked Gators earned the number 3 seed and hosting rights in the tournament after clinching the program's 25th SEC championship last week. Heading into the matchup with FAMU, the Gators will be met with familiar faces as just last year, the Gators opened the first round of the 2021 tournament, topping the Rattlers in the 3-set victory. With 9 lowerclassmen on the roster, the Gators will look to veteran leader Ellie McKissick to lead them to victory tonight. Gator head coach Mary Wise discussed how crucial McKissick's leadership will be for the Gators tonight.
We've asked a lot of Ellie as the most veteran player. She has had more playing time than anybody else, and she locked down that libero position in her freshman year, and her game has evolved.
Tonight's first serve is set for 7 p.m. Meanwhile, both Gator basketball teams will be in action over the weekend. Women's basketball travels to the University of Dayton for a date with the Flyers. The Gators have been killing it so far this season with a record of 7-1 after their win against Prairie View A&M on Wednesday. Dayton, meantime, doesn't have a win as they're 0-7 on the season. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. Meanwhile, men's hoops will be at home hosting Stetson Sunday afternoon. Florida has performed inconsistently so far this season, and their 5-3 record shows it. But with their dominant performance over Florida A&M Wednesday and a few lineup and rotation changes, the Gators look to be headed down a path of improvement. Sophomore guard Kawasi Reeves saw significantly more playing time in Wednesday night's matchup and went to work, dropping 19 points. Junior guard Trey Bonham stepped up in a big way with 23 points while going 7 for 7 from beyond the arc. Game time on Sunday is at 2 p.m. In high school football, a few local teams' hopes of a football state championship bid are still alive as the state playoffs continue tonight. Buchholz travels to Sarasota to take on Venice in a Class 4S state semifinal. Undefeated Hawthorne will host Bloutstown as part of the Class 1R state semifinal. Both games will kick off at 7:30. Union County is also in the Class 1R state semifinal, traveling to face Northview. In the Class 2S state semifinal, Bradford is at Cocoa, and in a Class 3S state semifinal, Columbia visits Lake Wells. Sticking with high school sports, a few local hoops teams participated in some marquee matchups last night. Newberry hosted local rival Chiefland in boys hoops, and the showdown was nothing short of a thriller. The game remained close the entire night as the contest went into double overtime. But in the final 9 seconds of the game, Chiefland made a layup to edge out the Panthers 64-63. And in girls hoops, Oak Hall hosted Meadowbrook Academy and displayed a dominant performance in the 60-48 win. The Eagles are now 3-2 on the season after Bella Dirkle-Button led the Eagles to the victory. Oak Hall will travel to St. Joseph Academy tonight. That's it for sports. Now back to the desk.
Everywhere you look, signs of the season, Christmas trees, festive decorations, but on the University of Florida campus, the holiday looks and sounds like this. The lighting of the Holiday Gator took place last night on the lawn of the University Auditorium. Students and staff and faculty ate cookies, sipped hot chocolate, and listened to the sounds of holiday music from 3 student groups. Gainesville artist and blacksmith Leslie Tharp created the 8-foot steel sculpture. University President Kent Fox created this event 4 years ago. The reptile will remain glowing orange and blue through fall commencement on December 17th. And before we leave the studio tonight, we want to know what the weather's like outside. Julia, could you help us out with that?
Well, we do have a beautiful sunset outside. But now off to you, Macie.
Thanks, Julia. Today's actually our last day all together at the desk and the last show for our producer. So thanks so much.
We'll see you guys next time.